Hello and welcome to this video on one of the most controversial figures in modern politics, Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Trump has had a significant impact on the political landscape not just in the United States, but around the world. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Trump's rise to power, his policies, his controversies, and what the future may hold for him and his supporters. Part 1. The Rise of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was born in New York City in 1946 and went on to become a successful businessman, with interests in real estate, entertainment, and sports. He first entered the political arena in the late 1980s, but it wasn't until 2015 that he announced his candidacy for President of the United States. Despite being widely dismissed by the media and political establishment, Trump's unorthodox campaign resonated with many Americans who felt left behind by the political elite. Part 2. Trump's policies as president. As president, Trump pursued a number of controversial policies, including a travel ban on several predominantly Muslim countries, a repeal of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, and a border wall with Mexico. He also implemented tax cuts for individuals and corporations and withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement. His foreign policy was marked by a focus on America First and a willingness to engage in direct negotiations with North Korea and Russia. Part 3. Trump's controversies. Trump's presidency was marked by a number of controversies, including allegations of collusion with Russia during the 2016 election, accusations of sexual misconduct by multiple women, and his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Trump was also impeached twice by the House of Representatives, first for abuse of power in relation to his dealings with Ukraine, and then for incitement of insurrection following the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol by his supporters. One of the defining features of Trump's presidency was his unconventional approach to politics. He was known for his bombastic rhetoric, his use of social media to communicate directly with his supporters, and his willingness to break with traditional norms and conventions. This approach earned him both passionate supporters and fervent critics, and it made his presidency one of the most divisive in recent memory. One of the most controversial policies of Trump's presidency was his handling of immigration and border security. He made building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border a key campaign promise, arguing that it was necessary to stem the flow of illegal immigration and protect American jobs. However, his approach was widely criticized by advocates of immigrant rights, who argued that it was inhumane and ineffective. Another major controversy surrounding Trump was his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Critics accused him of downplaying the severity of the virus and failing to provide adequate support to states and communities in need. Trump also faced criticism for his resistance to wearing a mask and for holding large rallies and events despite the risk of spreading the virus. One of the defining features of Trump's presidency was his approach to foreign policy, which was marked by a focus on America First and a willingness to engage in direct negotiations with countries like North Korea and Russia. Trump's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in 2018 was seen as a major breakthrough, although critics argued that it was more of a photo op than a substantive policy achievement. Trump's approach to Russia was also controversial, especially given the ongoing investigation into allegations of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government during the 2016 election. Trump's policies on trade and the economy were also a major focus of his presidency. He implemented tax cuts for both individuals and corporations, arguing that they would stimulate economic growth and job creation. However, critics argued that the tax cuts disproportionately benefited the wealthy and contributed to a growing national debt. Trump also took a confrontational approach to trade, imposing tariffs on countries like China and Canada in an effort to protect American jobs and industries. This approach was controversial, with some experts arguing that it could ultimately harm the U.S. economy by leading to a global trade war. Another key issue during Trump's presidency was his approach to healthcare. Trump and the Republican Party sought to repeal the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, which had been one of the signature achievements of the Obama administration. However, their efforts were ultimately unsuccessful, and the ACA remains the law of the land. Trump also faced criticism for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, with many experts arguing that his administration's response was slow and inadequate, leading to unnecessary suffering and deaths. One of the most contentious issues during Trump's presidency was his handling of immigration and border security. Trump made building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border a central part of his campaign, and he continued to push for funding and construction of the wall during his presidency. His administration also implemented a number of policies aimed at restricting immigration, including a travel ban on several predominantly Muslim countries and the separation of families at the border. Critics argued that these policies were inhumane and violated basic human rights, while supporters saw them as necessary measures to protect national security and American jobs. Another major issue during Trump's presidency was his approach to climate change and environmental policy. Trump announced in 2017 that the U.S. would withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, a landmark international agreement aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions and mitigating the effects of climate change. He also rolled back a number of environmental regulations put in place by the Obama administration, arguing that they were burdensome and unnecessary. This approach was criticized by environmental advocates, who argued that it would have harmful long-term effects on the planet and future generations. Trump's presidency was also marked by a contentious relationship with the media. He frequently criticized news outlets and journalists, accusing them of bias and fake news. He also used social media to communicate directly with his supporters and to bypass traditional media channels. This approach was seen by some as a refreshing change from the political establishment, while others argued that it was dangerous and undermined the role of a free press in a democracy. Despite these controversies, Trump remains a powerful and influential figure in American politics. His supporters remain fiercely loyal to him, and he continues to shape the direction of the Republican Party. However, his continued influence has also led to divisions within the party, with some Republicans calling for a move away from Trumpism and a return to more traditional conservative values. Finally, Trump's presidency was marked by a number of controversies surrounding his personal conduct and behavior. In addition to the allegations of sexual misconduct and the impeachment proceedings, Trump was also criticized for his use of Twitter to attack his opponents and to make controversial statements. Some argued that his behavior was unbecoming of a president and undermined the dignity of the office. Part 4: The Future of Trump and His Supporters. Despite losing the 2020 election to Joe Biden, Trump remains a powerful and influential figure within the Republican Party. He has hinted at a possible run for president in 2024, and his supporters remain fiercely loyal to him. However, his continued influence has also led to divisions within the party, with some Republicans calling for a move away from Trumpism and a return to more traditional conservative values. Conclusion: love him or hate him, there's no denying that Donald Trump has had a significant impact on the political landscape in the United States and beyond. As we move forward, it remains to be seen what the future holds for Trump and his supporters, and whether his brand of politics will continue to shape the Republican Party and American politics as a whole. Overall, The legacy of Donald Trump's presidency will continue to be debated and analyzed for years to come. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Trump had a significant impact on American politics and the world stage, and his influence is likely to be felt for many years to come. Thank you for watching.